Welcome back to another video from the Debate Room podcast. As you can tell by our title, this is our AFC South preview. We have two more divisions to do after this, and then we're done with the division previews. We'll move on to predictions for the season. Q, by the way, you were shitting on Tony Pollard. I vaguely remember, so you wanted him
No,
to
no, that's not. Don't rewrite history. That's not what I said. That's not what I said. I said the Dallas Cowboys didn't have a run game, and I stated that Tony Pollard was banged up, so he didn't perform how people thought he would perform. I never said he was bad. I said because he wasn't a workhorse back, it's likely he's going to get hurt, and he got hurt, and that's why he didn't perform. Next year, came back healthy, had a good year last year. Let's relax.
All right, we're talking about the AFC South, where Tony Pollard does play, actually. So it is on theme. But we're going to start off with the Texans, actually. And my question to you guys is, did the Texans improve their situation around CJ Stroud enough this offseason? Last year, we came into the season. A lot of people thought they were going to be contenders, making the AFC Championship game. Q was not of that belief. I remember him saying the Texans were overrated, and he probably was proved to be correct. But their offensive line was terrible last year. The offense in general was not efficient, but still found a way to win a playoff game off the backs of their defense, and CJ Stroud playing well in the playoffs as well. This offseason, I don't feel like they did a lot to improve the situation around CJ Stroud, at least on offense. So I wanted to get you guys' input. Did the Texans do enough to improve the situation around CJ Stroud this offseason? Q, you were lower on them last year, so we'll start with you.
To answer the question, I don't think so, and that's just solely because they didn't invest a lot into the offensive line because that's their main issue. I think they did a decent job getting more receivers in the wide receiver room, adding depth because they did deal with a lot of injuries last year. Get Joe Mixon back. I was shitting on Joe Mixon. He had a good year last year. You bring in Nick Chubb, who off injury, you get what you get. They drafted Woody Marks, who was an underrated running back out of USC. But in terms of offensive line, they didn't really do anything. The dude from Minnesota that they drafted, supposedly he's going to start at left tackle. He has been good. Reports say that he's been their best offensive lineman. So hopefully that'll help. But other than that, the other four is a lot to be desired. And that's really the issue, protection. And, time for CJ to throw the ball. So that's still up in the air. Their defense obviously is going to be great. And they could win 10 games and win the division off the back of their defense. So it's not really that big of a deal. But if they want to make the next step, they gotta heavily invest in the O-line. They haven't done that thus far.
You go. You may go.
I
would agree with Q. I think that this team is still very good and can be very good. I don't think they did enough to help CJ this offseason at all, though. I think that this O-line, with what he said, with a lot to be desired, has a lot of question marks. You lost Kenyon Green, you lost Laramie Tunsil, you bring Cameron Robinson, you bring in, again, rookies. Like, you're trying to figure out pieces that work. I don't think that necessarily the receiving core was the issue. I know they went through injuries last year, but when the receiving core, they had Diggs, but you have Nico, you have movable pieces in there. Now you have Christian Kirk, you have Jaden Higgins. Like, you have good pieces out there in that receiver room. So I'm not super worried about that. Running backs, again, you got a plethora. It's the O-line, and it was bad last year. CJ struggled, and it looks to be bad again this year. So CJ will need to play some sort of hero ball, but luckily for Houston, this defense, and to an extent this division, makes it easier for CJ. Again, I think the Jags, a lot of people are hyped on them to have a good year this year. But even with that, the Colts are not super competitive right now, at least it looks of it currently. And same with Tennessee. I don't think either team looks to be up to Houston's standards or to their status currently. So I think that Houston can't coast. They have a couple tough games this year, obviously, but I think that they can still get back to the playoffs, can still win the division with the O-line as is. You just need CJ Stroud to play a little more hero ball, or they make more additions throughout the year. But I think as an entire offseason, doing with what they did, I wouldn't rate it super, super highly in terms of how CJ Stroud's security for this upcoming season would be.
I'm very skeptical of their production from the wide receiver room outside of Nico Collins. Christian Kirk is solid. I think at this point he's more like a wide receiver 3. So combining that on top of not having time to throw the ball, CJ not being the best athlete, it's going to take a lot from their play calling. and they did get an upgrade from. Well, we got to see, to be honest. But Bobby Slowick, who I think showed real promise in CJ Stroud's first year, he was damn near going to get a coaching job. He left a lot to be desired last year. So with the new OC for the Texans, and Nick Caley, we're gonna see how it looks. Last year, their offense at times, like to begin the year, they had some really good weeks. And the other times, like even like in the Bears games, they struggled a bit. They were up and down. Their offense was on third down a lot. CJ was having to make plays on third down, which he was, but it just wasn't sustainable at all. Mixon had a good year, but I don't think the run game was great at all. And Larry Tunsil, he had a lot of penalties, but he was still solid, good as a pass blocker. So he was making a lot of mistakes that was putting him behind the chains, and so was the rest of the offensive line. But at least he was still able to pass block. This offensive line is still gonna have CJ running for his life. I think it's gonna hurt his efficiency. I think it's gonna hurt the offensive efficiency as a whole. So we're gonna have to see how they manufacture easy looks for CJ, easy looks for the offense, and how they integrate some of these new weapons that they drafted and that they signed. So that's what I'm really watching for. I don't think they did enough to put them in contender tier. They're going to be likely a playoff team again, but likely lose in the second round. I would probably say the first round. And I think at that point, you would need to see what you need to build around CJ. Obviously, you need to invest in all of his line. Tank Dell got injured and is going to be out for the season. So if they draft another receiver high, I think that would be smart as well. So I think the next step for this team is probably adding more to the running game, adding more to the receiving room, and adding more to the offensive line. So they need to invest in offense, which is kind of crazy to say when you have a talent like CJ Stroud in the building. So I think they have a clear direction on what they need to improve. I think that they can use this year as a team to be dangerous this year in some sense. But I think the expectation for this team should be at their ceiling. It should be the second round of the playoffs. They should be the favorites, likely to win the division again. I know a lot of people are higher on Jacksonville. I'm not. We'll talk about that later. But I think the expectation going into this year was to be CJ Stroud to look more comfortable than he did last year, for them to win the division and for them to make the second round of playoffs again and see if they can give it like the Chiefs or the Ravens or the Bills a better fight in the second round. But am I expecting them to make the Super Bowl or make the conference finals? No, I think the AFC at the top is too good, and their roster is not good enough completely to get that done. But they have a likely a top 5 defense in the league, so where they can be in games with literally anybody. They beat the Bills last year. The Chiefs didn't completely blow them out or anything like that. They controlled the game. But I think just because their defense is going to set a really good floor for them the season and throughout the playoffs. So they're going to be in a lot of games. But when it comes down to playoff time, I think that CJ Stroud doesn't have enough weapons or the requisite protection to actually go get this done. So we'll see.
I think it's definitely protection over the weapons, though. I think the weapons issue, again, if they had a better O-line, would be more survivable. Sorry, big word. But I was going to ask you guys, on the defensive side,
what's the word? Is that a word?
Survivor. Thank you, survivable. I don't even know if that's the word. I don't know about that one. Are we? I mean, not we, but is Will Anderson Jr. a easy pick for DPOY currently?
No,
Not easy.
You don't think so? You don't think that? You think it's a hot take to say he's a DPOY candidate?
It's
not a favorite. Not a favorite.
He's on the other side of a pass rusher who's better than him.
Okay. All right.
I'm just saying. Yeah. So Danielle Hunter, as of right now, is still better than Will.
I don't know. Will I guess Will Anderson Jr. might
just got paid another 35 a year because he's been amazing.
All right, what's up?
All right, speak when you see a player better than CJ Stroud. Oh, you can see our people, can't you?
Yeah, I say spoiler alert. We see all those guys.
Why is it? Wait, hold on. Let me figure that out. Why is it like that? Yo, hold on.
Just
Oh,
show it.
did I
You like
put
to
it on?
play
Oh, I
all
shared
out.
the entire screen instead of sharing the
Yeah.
file.
Yeah.
All right. Well, just
But we know who's up.
you know,
I'll be holding my breath for
erase
at
some
least
people,
4.
erase some people from your mind. Slides and PDF.
How much I think he get paid if he get extended this whole season?
CJ?
Same as Trevor Lawrence.
What do you get a
Probably
year?
more.
I'd say 35 or 40 probably.
Who?
35 or 40?
Is that not
CJ
what the
Stroud?
average? I'm trying to think. What did
Hell
Trevor
no.
get paid? What did Trevor get
55 a
paid?
year. 55
Huh?
a year.
Oh,
55 a year.
yeah, I'm completely
He
off
ain't getting
then.
that. He ain't getting that.
Why did I think Dak got 50 and that was a lot? Am I just off?
That got
All
60.
right, let's try this again.
Josh
Speak
Allen
when you
got
see. I know y'all probably forgot the plays already now. Speak when
Go
you
for
see a player
I got
better.
the first 4, buddy. I got the first 4.
Speak when you see a player better than CJ Stroud.
I want to so bad.
Yeah, I agree. I love Kyler, but I can't.
That's talking, but sure. I
You
guess.
you get the point.
Y'all just don't value production anymore, I guess. All right, next player up. This is debatable. That's crazy. Next player up. 40 touchdowns.
I'm not even gonna say I'm speaking because like this is I think like
I'm not gonna
I
say
get
speaking.
we'll
but
see who's
speak-
next, but this is the line for me. These two flip in my head constantly, but I'll hold off for right now. For the point of the video, I'll hold off.
All right, that was a lot of talking, but sure. Back to back great years from Baker. Can't get no respect. 40 touchdowns. Man.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I'm speaking. I'm speaking.
I think CJ might get more playoff wins than Dak already. I think he might.
Nah,
Is
it's
it
tied.
1-1? 1-1.
It's tied. 2-2. I mean, they both got 2.
You speaking? No, I think Dak is slightly better than CJ too. People forget that he was an MVP candidate not too long ago, and he consistently leads top offenses. I mean, I get it. Max, are you done?
No, I will hold off.
All right.
This is the worst. This is the worst. No, this is the worst. Because this is where you get into this thing where it's like the rookies. And again, I fell for the CJ Stroud thing rookie year. I know. And it's all like I need to see it after another year of production. I struggle with this one a lot. I should have taken it back at Baker. I just should have stopped at Baker. Who would I rather have in my football team?
It's Jaden Daniels. He adds that component in the rushing game that CJ Stroud just doesn't have.
Understand, but I know, but we need to see like the schedule. I get it. You can only play who you play. Like we talk about it all the time. But I do need to see it for one more year. Yes, I will speak, but I think I'm very much on the fence.
You've seen CJ for another year, and it was worse than the last year.
I know.
Jalen Daniels had a better year than CJ Stroud had in his best year.
I know, but it's back-to-back playoff years. I don't know if the Commanders make the playoffs this year.
He wasn't. CJ wasn't terrible. I think he was pretty solid for the circumstances of what he went through last year.
But it also just wasn't. People were expecting him to take right off where he was the year before, and he didn't. So
try to tell folks.
Jerry Jones says on Michael Irvin's YouTube channel, he offered Michael Parsons richest non-QB deal in the NFL. Okay. All right. Let's get into the Texans record prediction. I don't know who wants to do this. I don't know.
Not me. I'll go for Jacksonville.
Yeah, Q, you do it.
You want me to read? You want me to count?
I'll read it off.
Can't wait for Jaden Higgins to pop off week 7.
All right, Q. You're gonna predict the Texans schedule next season. Week 1 at the Rams.
At Rams, W.
Matthew Stafford dealing with a back injury.
I said W.
Oh, my screen is frozen. I don't know what's going on with my stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You said W? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Week 2 at home versus the Buccaneers.
At home, it's 50-50. I'm gonna let them get a W.
Week 3 at the Jaguars.
At Jaguars, we get a Jag the dub.
Week 4 at home versus the Titans.
Dub.
Week 5 at the Ravens.
L.
They got a bye week in week 6, and then they're at the Seahawks.
L.
Week 8 at home versus the 49ers.
Dub.
Week 9 at home versus the Broncos.
At home versus the Broncos.
This is going to be a clash of the defense.
I'm gonna give it a W slightly. 50-50.
Week 10 at home versus the Jaguars.
Dub.
Week 11 at the Titans.
Dub.
I think Titans can be sneaky this year. Week 12.
They have a good schedule though, correct? They got a tough schedule, yeah. They have a tough schedule though, yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. Week 12 at home versus the Bills.
I took the Bills to lose this game, right? So yeah, Texans W.
Week 13 at the Colts.
W.
Week 14 at the Chiefs.
L.
Week 15 at home versus the Cardinals.
L.
I think they win this game. Week 16.
No, that's what I meant. I meant W. I meant W.
Okay.
W.
Week 16 at home versus the Raiders.
W. Raiders are cheeks.
Week 17 at home versus the Chargers.
L.
Week 18 at home versus the Colts.
What's the record like right now?
I believe you have them at 11 wins because you have them losing the Chiefs, right?
Yeah.
So I think 11.
You know, it's the Colts. I'm gonna let them get it, even though
you got
how it goes. I'm gonna let them get a W.
Correct me if I'm wrong again. Rams, Bucks, Titans, Niners, Broncos, Jags, Titans, Bills, Colts, Cardinals, Raiders, Colts. That's 12.
12 and 5.
Yeah, their schedule isn't too hard despite them winning the division last year. It's really because the division is relatively weak.
Usually,
there's a couple non-conference like they have to play the Bills and the Ravens. Those two are out of division.
They usually play the division. Like, even though they're in a weak conference, they don't play up to the competition. Like, they barely won the division the last 2 times that they won it. Like, usually they're fighting in the last 2 weeks for the division, like with the Colts also. And they had bad quarterback play, so it's up in the air. But I think they had like a good start to finish season, even though there's still clearly things wrong with the team.
All right. Now let's get into the hot topic of the episode, man. This just happened. Did the Colts make the right decision starting Daniel Jones, and can he lead them to the playoffs? They've been basically knocking on the door for back-to-back seasons with Gardner Minshew, with Anthony Richardson, with Joe Flacco. Whoever the quarterback was, they've been in contention for the playoffs. We've seen stories like Geno Smith. We've seen stories like Sam Darnold. Can Daniel Jones be that next comeback story, that next feel-good story for the Colts this season? Max, talk to me. Indiana residents.
Indiana residents.
No, we're not. I'm not.
To be honest, no. I'll say no. And for the simple fact that the AFC is just good and it's tough. There's a lot of tough teams in that division versus the Colts, I guess. Again, the Jags always beat the Colts, and you got the Texans who are still playing good football. So I'll have those 2 teams over them in their division to go along with all the good teams in the AFC West, the good teams in the AFC North. I think that it will be super tough for the Colts to get up there. I like Travarius Ward. I like Cam Bynum. You obviously beef up that secondary. The Colts put out good defenses. The O-line has been so just fluctuating up and down over the past couple of years. JT's been a great running back for his entire career there, it seems like. The receiving core gets definitely questionable at times, though. And maybe you could blame that to quarterback play. But I think Michael Pittman's up and down years. Josh Downs had hype and still is a good receiver, but just doesn't get the production. Tyler Warren, you bring him into that offense. I think he'll be good, but maybe this year isn't the year. Maybe it takes some time. So I think there's just way too many moving pieces in this team to really expect them to jump over teams like Denver or Los Angeles or, I mean, Jacksonville or Houston. You have teams in the AFC North. Like I said, I don't think the Colts are up to those levels at all. So Daniel Jones, I don't know. I don't think he'll be much of a step up from Anthony Richardson, if anything at all. So again, I know Daniel Jones, I believe he had a good game or two with Minnesota. Didn't Sam Darnold go down, or am I just imagining things?
You're imagining things.
So I don't think Daniel Jones has been good for years, obviously, since New York. I guess I thought he played one game okay in Minnesota, but I'm really not imagining this to be this Sam Darnold. And again, no one thought Sam Darnold was going to be that thing. So actually, I was high on the Vikings last year, but I think that Daniel Jones is just not the 2021 quarterback that he was leading them to the playoffs. So I would say that this team isn't quite in the toilet bowl. I don't think they're in the Cleveland Browns and New Orleans Saints of the world, but I think they're close.
Oof. I want to. So I asked you.
I probably think they finished lower than Titans.
Do you think they made the Colts the right decision with Daniel Jones starting him?
I don't know if it necessarily matters. I'll say no for the simple fact that Anthony Richardson is still very young, and again, it was bad, but like I would just throw out the young guy, see what he can do. Because again, I don't know. You know what you get from Daniel Jones. I don't know what this is going to show, but who knows?
I think multiple things can be true in this Colts fiasco. So let me telegraph this. Okay, so I think that the Colts are idiots for drafting a raw quarterback and then only giving him 15 games to play. He has 300 or so passes. He doesn't have a lot of experience coming into the NFL throughout high school, throughout college. So drafting a QB as raw as him and then only giving him 15 games to make mistakes, to learn, it wasn't smart whatsoever. So I think that was a organizational failure from them in that instance. Do I think Shane Steichen was wrong for starting Daniel Jones? No, I don't. Because Shane Steichen has a job to protect. Shane Steichen has been 17-17 in 2 years with Joe Flacco, Gardner Minshew, and Anthony Richardson. He's had some of the Gardner Minshew wasn't the worst quarterback play, but he's experienced some of the worst quarterback play in the league, and he's had his team at 17-17. The Colts are a talented team. They have a good roster. So put yourself in Shane Steichen's shoes. I have been able to floor raise to an ability where this team has been 500 in my first 2 years coaching. So why would I risk losing my job for a quarterback who has been one of the worst quarterbacks in NFL history in his first 2 years? That is not an exaggeration whatsoever. Go look at the numbers. He is in Zach Wilson. What's that dude that was drinking lean? What is that dude that was drinking lean? LSU.
Hey, bro, chill, bro.
What's his name? I can't. It's not. I'm not going to like that. He's in Josh Rosen, Zach Wilson. What is that dude that was drinking lean? You know what I'm talking about, Q?
Yeah, bro, chill, bro.
What is his name?
Are you saying Jamarcus Russell?
Yes, he's in Zach Wilson. He's in Zach Wilson, Josh Rosen, Tim Tebow, Jamarcus Russell category in terms of bad QB play. And I mean, Tim Tebow, obviously he won. He had a few 8-game stretch. Who cares? Johnny Manziel, territory as far as bad QB play. He's been awful as a passer, especially. So I get betting on Anthony Richardson because of his tools. But I think it was a bad bet because he had no experience whatsoever, basically. But if you're Shane Steichen, I can't get mad at Shane Steichen. You do not get head coaching opportunities often. And if you can resurrect Daniel Jones' career in Indy and compete for a playoff spot this year, go 9-8 or something like that, you can stay your job. And at this point, that's probably more likely than turning Anthony Richardson into a good quarterback. It probably is. Getting average QB play out of Daniel Jones is definitely more likely, I think, at this point, than Anthony Richardson turning into a franchise quarterback. Shane Steichen doesn't have many more games to waste on a quarterback that can't make reads, that is very bad pre-snap. That's a bad decision maker, and he can't stay healthy. He don't have time to do that. So I think two things can be true. I think the Colts organization kind of failed Anthony Richardson, and Shane Steichen was not wrong to make Daniel Jones the starting quarterback. It was the best decision. Q, what do you did the Colts make the right decision starting Daniel Jones?
If the goal is to win games, they made the right decision because Daniel Jones can win you more games than I'm not going to say because I also don't necessarily believe that either, but start to finish for a season, Daniel Jones is probably your best option at quarterback. We've seen what he can do with proper coaching, proper infrastructure. Anthony Richardson is just super raw, like you said. Essentially, he's a third-year QB. Essentially, he's only played one season of football. He's 8-7. He's played 15 games. The Colts actually have a winning record when they play Anthony Richardson outside of any other QB except for the Gardner Minshew year, obviously. And even then, Gardner Minshew only played he didn't play the first 4 games. That was Anthony Richardson who went 2-2. Gardner Minshew only won 7 games for the Colts. Since he didn't play that long, you have to, give him the chance to grow. They didn't give him the chance to grow. Obviously, some of that was self-inflicted with him tapping out last year, but was it a bad move? Sure, but I would never penalize him so hard for it. If you make the pick, I'm not saying you double down on something bad, but you also have to understand what you're doing. You're talking about developing a quarterback needs time, and you know how raw he is, so you should have just gave him the runway. If from training camp, if the reports if they were close, you should go with Anthony Richardson. That's obviously to do with more upside, but they didn't. Obviously, you want to win games and save your job. That's always rule number one: save your job, protect your chicken. And that's what Shane Steichen did. Do I think he could resurrect him and make him a Geno Smith-Darnold type thing? Maybe. He's worked with Jalen Hurts. He's worked with Justin Herbert. They've had great seasons under him. They have a good set of wide receivers. They had a decent D-line, decent secondary, decent linebacker group, decent O-line. So, they don't have no top-end talent, but they're very good, and they find a way to be in playoff hunts all year. Every year. So, if that's the goal, and that's going to save their job, then Daniel Jones is the right pick. But I think this whole process is wrong. Like you said, two things could be true. They just happen to be, right on both accounts, or they were wrong with the Anthony Richardson situation, but they were right to start Daniel Jones.
Yeah. My next question for the Colts or for Anthony Richardson is it over for Anthony Richardson in Indiana? And what team could possibly trade for him? What team gives Anthony Richardson the best possibility to resurrect his career or get his career started in general? Because I guess not resurrected because he had to, be on top at first.
No, yes, sorry, he's definitely over in Indy, I would say, barring Daniel Jones gets injured or something. Obviously, coming back in. If I'm Anthony Richardson, I don't necessarily want to play for the team anymore. Again, got a lot of shit for the whole wrestling thing last year. Not getting picked to be the starting QB. I don't think you want to be there at all anymore. What team would go for him? I think an easy cop-out is Pittsburgh just because they need a quarterback. But, again, I think if the Cardinals are bad, I would hope that someone like Kyler might have a chance to go over there. I honestly think that, going and developing somewhere, going to a place like Kansas City or Buffalo, you won't play, but you'll learn. I think that the Rams are probably the best combination of both. I don't love it, but what Q, was that your answer?
Bro read the group chat and stole answers. Bro, it's crazy.
Did you put that in the group chat?
Yeah.
Did I completely miss that?
What happened?
Anyway, huh?
Wait, still answers.
Did Q say AR go into the Rams?
Yeah, he did.
Well, sorry, flowers to Q on that one. But Sean McVay, I think, would be similar to probably the best quarterback coach you could get. I think that San Fran would be a close second if they did not just sign Brock Purdy to this big contract. But the situation in LA obviously is the best you can get, and you learn from Matt Stafford. And that's the best combination of both. Sorry if I stole your thunder. I did not remember that at all.
Yeah, it's over in Indy for him. Based off what his agent was saying, whether the agent was just talking out his mouth or he was talking for AR. Either way, he wouldn't have said that if he didn't have any type of insight on what his client wants. If it was a place outside of Indy, obviously, like you said, the Rams. If I was Miami, I'd probably take a flyer on him like a sixth or a seventh. Maybe Pittsburgh, but they can't develop quarterbacks, so I don't know why they would want a developmental quarterback who's like way, way, way under the curve. Other than that, you'd have to sit behind like a Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes or something. Lamar, go to the Ravens, rehabilitate, learn that system, learn from Lamar, something like that. Then we got something cooking. Other than that, it's
just not many good options.
What's the point of having a backup quarterback? Especially there's a lot of quarterbacks coming in the next 2 years. I don't need Anthony Richardson. I could draft a better prospect and not have to do so much legwork with him.
I think a good spot for him would be the Raiders. I mean, obviously Geno Smith is not the long-term option there. So if he can sit for a year or two, theoretically develop, that's gonna be one of his best possibilities. I'm sorry.
I said that's a good pull. I like that.
Yeah, that's probably gonna be one of his best opportunities to have a shot at starting one day and sticking in the league. And they have some young talent on their offense as well with Ashton Genty. If he can improve as a passer, him and Ashton Genty in the backfield will be dangerous. We got Brock Bowers at tight end. Jacoby Myers is still there. They can add on to the team in the future. So I feel like the Raiders will be one of the best spots for Anthony Richardson if he's going to stick in this league. Will he continue to stay in the NFL? We will see. He's hanging on by a thread right now, honestly. You can't beat Daniel Jones, who is not a starting quarterback. You are not in a good situation. You're not. Your prospects are not looking good, but we'll see. Rooting for him, black man in America. Let's do it. I hope he improves. Let's move on to the Colts record prediction. Who said they were doing this?
Max? I got it.
Okay.
I got it.
I'll read it off.
Remember, this is with Daniel Jones at quarterback.
Maybe I'm bad, but doesn't really change my opinion on this team either way. Sorry.
Me either, honestly. All right. Max, I'm going to have you predict the Colts record with Daniel Jones at the helm. Week 1, at home versus the Dolphins.
Hot start. They get a win. Not many of them, man. Got to give them one.
You actually believe that?
Out of all the games in the schedule,
I'd bet that. I ain't gonna lie. I'd bet that week 1.
Like, I think that's an easy. I think we'll go down the list: Cardinals, Raiders, Miami. I think they win one of those 3 games, and I honestly think that they have the best chance to beat Miami. And I think the Raiders stink too.
I think the Dolphins secondary is awful, but they don't have a quarterback to challenge them. So I think this is a win for Miami. But week 2 at home versus the Broncos.
Loss.
Week 3 at the Texans. Week 3 at the Titans.
Loss.
Week 4 at the Rams.
Loss.
Week 5 at home versus the Raiders. Come on now. Daniel Jones.
Do you want them to have 3 or 4 wins? So I'll go loss.
Week 6 at home versus the Cardinals.
I think the Cardinals winning this game in their prediction, so I will go with a win for Arizona.
Week 7 at the Chargers.
So, loss for the Colts in the last one. Loss again on this one.
Week 8 at home versus the Titans.
Win.
I'm not sure. Week 9 at the Steelers.
I think they split with the Titans, at least. Loss.
Oh, true. Week 10 at home versus the Falcons.
Loss.
They have a bye week in week 11, and then they play the Chiefs at home.
Loss.
Week 13 at the Texans.
Loss.
Pardon me. Week 13 at home versus Texans.
Loss.
Week 14 at the Jaguars.
Loss.
Week 15 at the Seahawks.
Loss.
Week 16 at home versus the 49ers.
Loss.
Week 17 at home versus the Jaguars.
Win.
Week 18 at home versus Texans.
I think you get into the scenario of are they benching people? I think that the Houstons could be like 11 wins and the Jags could be at 9. And so Houston could rest people, so it could be a win. So for that sake, I will say win and put them that's at 4.
Bro, they not. Come on, bro.
How much? You said 4-13?
1-13, I believe.
Bro, they're
What are you
not.
switching? What are you switching, Q? Be honest. What are we switching?
They're not winning 4 games. I can't tell you the wins, but I promise you they're gonna win more.
That's what I'm asking. So what do you want me to say? They're 50-50.
They have went 8-9 and 9-8 in the last 2 years with not much better quarterback play, honestly.
I guess.
I'm willing to bet a large sum of money they win more than 4 games.
Sure. I think that 50-50s are Miami. 50-50s are potentially Pittsburgh. 50-50s are the Raiders and the Dolphins. I think the Tennessee games are 50-50s. I'm just telling you, I don't think they win those games if I had to put money on it right now. But I'm not confident in the team at all.
How much you want to put on it right now? How much you want to put on it right now? Over under 4.
I literally just said they're all 50-50s.
Over under 4.5.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you 5.5. I'm gonna give you 5.5.
I'm not betting on this. I'm not betting on the Colts this year. I'm not betting on Daniel Jones.
Bro from Indiana don't want to bet on his team, bro. Come on now.
Our team. That's our team. That's our team. That's our team, Latif. That's our team.
All right, let's move on to the Jaguars. This is one of the teams where I think a lot of people think they're going to improve this year. The Jaguars are favorites. I just saw them being ranked as the top 10 team in the league. Actually.
Wait, did you guys see Colin Cowherd's list? Top 10 teams?
I did.
Dude, now it's gonna blank me.
He has the Chiefs at 5. He has the Broncos at 4.
Who was 6?
He has Detroit at 10.
Who was 6? No, I gotta figure out who was 6
The
now.
Packers.
No, it was worse. The Seahawks. The Seahawks were top 7. I think the Seahawks were 6 or 7 on the list. Yes, that's what it was. That was great.
All right, can the Jaguars compete for the division this season? Last year they took a really step back. They won 4 games or so like that. Had a top pick in a draft in which they traded from 5 to 2, traded a first round pick to move up and get Travis Hunter. Got some star power. Got Liam Cohen in the building. So new coordinator new coach for Trevor Lawrence. They're a $50 million man. Trevor Lawrence has underwhelmed so far in his career. Has really only been good for 1 season. 2 seasons, pardon me. Can the Jaguars compete for the division this year? Q.
I believe so. I thought they was able to compete for it last year based off things that we have seen. Like you said, he was good for 2 years. A lot of people only say a year, but if you watch the games, you understand that second year, he went. It was an actual Pro Bowler, won a playoff game after a rocky start, obviously. But start to finish, he was pretty decent. He followed that up the next year. Going into week 11, basically, if he won, he had the 1 seed in the whole AFC, and proceeded to get injured in 3 straight games. And then obviously tail end of the season, still had a chance to win the division in the last week of the season. At 1:00, he just lost the game to the Titans, and the Texans won the very next time block, and they won the division. So it came down close. As long as T-Law is healthy, I think their floor is probably 8 wins if he's healthy, if he's able to stand upright, if they fix the whole line. They added another wide receiver. Whether you think he's a great wide receiver or not, it's up in the air, but it is star talent. It is one of the greatest prospects we've seen in a while. Whether he plays both sides or not, up in the air, I think he should probably spend most of the time on offense to help T-Law since you invested $55 million into him. Defense will come along. But it's really just a year for Trevor to break out. Well, not break out, just show that he was worthy of number 1 pick, because he's probably on his last this is probably his last year to show that he's that guy. I don't think whether not going to trade him or anything like that, but we're not going to start talking so highly of him. So this is probably one of those seasons. He don't have to win a division, but he has to show that he, go out there and throw for a bunch of yards, throw for a bunch of touchdowns, cut the turnovers down, play a whole season, start to finish, show all those things, and then I'm pretty sure they'll feel good. Got Liam Cohen, a good offensive mind. Baker spoke really highly of him. He wanted him in Tampa Bay. That's why he got him from the Rams. So I think they have the infrastructure to do well. They got a pretty progressive GM, so I think the team is just going to get better year in, year out. But it has to start this year. I think they're going to make the playoffs. I think they're going to sneak in the back half, and that's all they need to do this year. I think that's a success.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not impressed by this Jacksonville team whatsoever. I know the schedule should be lighter, because they were fourth place in the division last year or third place in the division last year. But when I look at this team, I'm really skeptical about the secondary for sure. I think the defense line has some talent on it. They didn't perform the best last year at getting pressure on the quarterback. But I think their defense line is talented. But their secondary, I think, is still gonna have issues. I think their defense in totality is still gonna be a question mark going into the year this year. I think Liam Cohen can make a lot of things easier for Trevor Lawrence this year by getting the ball to his playmakers early and often, schemed up screens and easy completions for Trevor Lawrence. I think obviously having someone like De'Ami Brown is going to help as well. Brian Thomas Jr. is a borderline top 10 receiver in the league. And then Travis Hunter is just one of the best athletes in the NFL day one, I think. So I think their offense is going to be much better, but I think what's going to be their downfall is still going to be their defense and their secondary specifically. I'm gonna let Max go. Then I really want to comment on something specifically about Travis Hunter, and I have two more things for the Jaguars about Trevor Lawrence and then Travis Hunter. But I think this is the Texans' division to lose. I think they're probably the more balanced team because of how great their defense is. I expect the Jaguars to be a better offense under Liam Cohen with Trevor Lawrence staying healthy. If Brian Thomas Jr. can replicate and improve on some of the things he did last year, I think their offense will be actually pretty potent. It's just their defense is what I think is gonna be the drawback for the team pretty clearly. Max, will the Jaguars compete for the division this year?
Like I said, I think they'll be close, but I agree. I think it's the Texans division to lose. But I am part of the group who believes that Liam Cohen is a good OC, and I trust in Trevor Lawrence and this receiving core to go out and win football games. The defense is not as good as Houston. Again, like you said, I don't think that's a stretch at all. But I think when you look at their schedule, like, again, we talk about these 50-50 games all the time. I think that they have a lot of very winnable games on their schedule, or they're at least in the same tier as them. Again, you get KC, you have Houston, who could be Denver, but past that, there's probably 15 games that I think they are a small step below at the same tier or better than. So I think that Jacksonville, if the offense is great, which I think that it can be or has the potential to be, they have a bunch of running backs. They have a lot of depth back there. They lost Evan Ingram. They got Brendan Strange, whatever. But you have BTJ and you have Trav. And I think that Trevor Lawrence has all the talent in the world to go out and pass for 5,000 yards and be a good quarterback for this team. I don't think it's going to happen. I think that, again, I still believe that Trevor Lawrence has that potential that he had with that first overall pick. So,
really? So is it a make or break? Is it a make or break for Trevor Lawrence?
Bro, people don't be throwing for 5,000 like that. Only like 6 players ever did that.
What I'm saying though is when Trevor Lawrence when he came into the draft, right? Was he not hailed as one of the best prospects of the past couple years, whatever, as a guy who could be like that?
And Andrew Luck ain't even throw for 5,000.
I'm just saying that I don't think that was a crazy take at all way back in the day. Do I think he's going to do it? No. But I'm just saying I think that he is like still uberly talented.
I'm just talking
with what Q said, I think with how Q said this is the last year, I disagree. I think he could still take steps because, again, it's an entirely new offense. Are we expecting him to learn this offense immediately and just pick up on it? I don't know. I think that you could definitely see strides without seeing super, super successful, I guess, stats. Like, I think they'll win games. I think that the offense will be good, but it could be better. Like, I don't think Liam Cohen's offense, again, with what it was in Tampa, like, I don't think it's necessarily going to be like clicking day one to where it's just all going to take off from there. I think that there will be a middle ground of success and failure this year, I think, with Jacksonville. So I think that, again, 9-7, 9-8 would be bad. 10-7, I think, would be about where I'd say a successful season because I think that puts you in the playoffs. So, but I do agree with you.
So it's not a make or break season, is what you're saying?
No, like I think that's like very, very like I want to watch my words. Like what Q said, he's not going to get traded off the team. It's just how you view him. At least
I understand, bro. They gave him $55 million. They hired a coach, hired a new GM, and traded a next year's pick to go get Travis Hunter specifically to not only help the team but help Trevor Lawrence on offense.
Understand, but the team, can we lie about the defense? The defense is buns. I'm not confident on the defense right now. They need to make major improvements, and that's where it's on two sides of the ball. I get it on the offensive side, but the other 50% of the football game, like, it does not seem like the steps have been made there. So I understand they've done all they can on the offensive side to help him out, getting the coach, getting the receiver, and I think the offense will perform, but the defense can and I think will let them down in some games. That's all I'm saying. So he's not going to be off the team if he sucks this year, but sure, conversations will definitely change.
Yeah, I think at some point, I think Trevor Lawrence has definitely not lived up to that generational tag that he was given as he entered the NFL. And he hasn't had the best situation. He's had offensive line issues, which I still don't think are fixed. The defense hasn't been consistently great at all in his time. He has some bad head coaching as well. So he hasn't lived up to that expectation of being generational in the NFL, but he hasn't been given the best hand at all. But with Liam Cohen being as good as a play caller that he is, the weapons that he have on his offense now, I expect him to have a top 10-ish season this year. He has to, because he has to start returning some of that value from being the number one overall pick and from getting a $55 million contract. So I think it's not a make or break year for Trevor Lawrence, but it is a year where he needs to prove that he's improving and that he can start living up to what he was drafted as and to how he's being paid right now. Because at this moment, he is not.
What does that look like for you?
That looks like 35 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, 4,500 yards passing or something like that. I mean, Baker Mayfield did something like that last year. I mean, I would expect him to replicate what Baker did last year in offense with better pocket presence than what Baker displayed. Obviously, they won't have the best pass blocking O-line, but I think Trevor Lawrence is more talented than Baker Mayfield. He's bigger, obviously he's stronger. So I'm looking for, outside of the numbers, I'm looking for Trevor Lawrence's pocket presence to improve, his accuracy to improve. That's pretty much it. He's shown flashes in every single year outside his rookie year of brilliance. I think at moments last year he was even good last year. He's had some games that he looked pretty good. So I think the talent is there for Trevor Lawrence, but it's time for him to start living up to it because there's no way he should be getting discussed as like the 16th, 17th, 18th best quarterback in the league because his talent level is much higher than that. And obviously, this is the most talent I think the league has ever seen, so it's pretty tough. But again, number one pick, $55 million. It's pretty much time for him to step up. My last thing with the Jaguars, Q, do you think Travis Hunter is going to be able? Do you think Travis Hunter is going to be able to be impactful on both sides of the ball?
For where they drafted him and what they gave up to get him, he's not going to be like worth that. Like I just don't think because like, and I would love to be wrong. Like I'm not this. Like I'm a bet against him, but I'd love for him to show me wrong. Like I'm still rooting for him, even though I don't think it's gonna happen. Like because this is just a different level of play, and you can't ask him to go out there and play 50 snaps on offense. A lot of times he might not be getting the ball. Like of those 50 snaps, he probably gets the ball 10 of those snaps. But a lot of times you out there blocking, you're getting hit, chipped, and things like that. You're still a slender frame. And then you go on defense, and people know what to do with you. If you're not going to throw the ball, we can run at you, make you ineffective, things like that. So you're not going to get your full value if they decide not to throw his way. Like you don't get your full value out of that because you try to make plays, be an acrobat. He's a zone corner. He's supposed to be getting interceptions. If we're not throwing over there, then your value is diminished. I think to get the full value for what it is, you need to play him on one side or the other. I think he's a better corner than he is a wide receiver, but I think you'll get the most value out of him from wide receiver. He's a wide receiver 2, giving you Devontae Smith type numbers every season. Basically a borderline Pro Bowler. I think that you'll get more value out of that with your $55 investment with Trevor Lawrence than you would get if you have him just play, corner 2, because I don't think he could be a corner 1. I think he has to be like a Trayvon Diggs, like just out there you're trying to get turnovers, you're playing in the zone, and that you can't really like rely on that as your best like cornerstone piece on defense. It's gonna come time when it's for him to get paid. That's when it's like things are gonna get sticky, especially if he was playing both ways, because you're gonna want to have to like double compensate him or overpay him based off like production. Because like if he gives you 800 receiving yards and like 8 touchdowns, but he gives you like 3 interceptions, that's kind of worth $25 million. But it's like you're not getting full value. You're splitting reps. It's like being the jack of all trades. You're not really excelling at one thing. Like so, your value is never gonna be the same. I just don't. Not that he wasn't worth it, but I just don't think it's gonna happen.
No, I don't think he was worth it. I've maintained the stance that I don't think Travis Hunter should have been a top 5 pick in the draft. I've maintained that stance forever. I think he's a great football player. I think he's a great athlete. But I don't think taking a player. I think it's very rare for a cornerbacks to go top 2. I think it's very rare for a wide receiver to go top 2. And unless he's providing genuine value on both sides of the ball, picking him top 2 was never going to be a good thing to do. And I don't think it's a smart thing for Travis Hunter to do. He's a great athlete, but he has a slender frame. So playing that many amount of snaps on the NFL level with more physicality and athletes that are just as good as you, I don't think it's going to bode well for him. I hope he stays healthy, but he's already a bit banged up before the year even starts. So I think he's not going to be able to do that year in, year out. He's just not. I think that is a almost ridiculous idea, a ridiculous plan. And I'm all for innovation, but I don't think that's logical. I don't think that's going to work out whatsoever. I don't think he's going to provide. I don't think if he plays both ways, I don't think he's going to be able to provide enough value on either side to make it make sense for me. He's a special athlete, so I think he can be elite on either side, whatever he chooses to. If he really just puts all his focus into one side, I think he can be elite on either side. But doing the two-way thing, there's a reason why it's never been done. Like that's incredibly hard to do, and I'm definitely not expecting that from someone with as light as a frame as Travis Hunter. Like being a corner is obviously a physical thing, and I think giving the draft assets up, well, picking them at 2 is one thing. Giving the draft assets up to do it was also, I think, a bad decision. So I'm also rooting for Travis Hunter. I don't want him to fail whatsoever, and I hope it does work out. But I'm also not betting on it. I don't think that's going to happen.
To be fair, cornerbacks do go top 5. Derek Stingley and Sauce Gardner went 3-4. Jalen Ramsey went 5. Jeff Okudah went 3. Obviously, that was a whiff.
He wasn't as good as a prospect as none of those guys.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, but if it seemed like the value was there, like the only misses, well, not really miss, like was Jeff Okudah. Everybody else is pretty much all pro. Wide receivers up in the air, but like you said, he's slender frame. Like Deion Sanders,
they don't go 2.
No. You have a better chance of wide receiver going 2 than a corner. I don't think Travis Hunter is a better overall athlete than Deion Sanders. I think Deion Sanders is one of like the 5 greatest athletes ever, and even Deion Sanders ain't played 2 ways like all the way. Like his best attribute was being on defense, being a ball hog, getting the ball, getting whatever. And they're the same build, 6'1". Deion was actually played 10 pounds like heavier than him, so. You know what I'm saying? He also didn't tackle a lot, and that's how he was able to play so long. So what if they forced Travis Hunter to tackle? It's just these defensive, like football people are smart. No matter how you want to go against, like these coaches are smart. They know exactly what to do to make you ineffective. If you're not going to be locking in on one thing, again, becoming a master at that, you're not going to succeed for very long.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they're definitely probably going to need him more on the offensive end. But they're saying they're not that great either. So we'll see. He'll probably do it for maybe a year, maybe 2, and then he'll lock in on 1. Obviously, wide receivers are making more money. He probably at this point is better as a wide receiver because I think that almost takes less technique than a corner. So
Yes.
I think he's pretty far behind on both as far as the technique right now. But he was able to just win so much because of how great of an athlete he was. He's much more athletic than most college players. So rooting for Travis Hunter. Hopefully you get done. I'm a fan of Trevor too. So hopefully he can improve this year. We'll be watching for the Jaguars. But last team is the Titans. Q, what are your expectations for Cam Ward in his rookie season? I think Cam Ward is one of the most under-discussed number one picks maybe ever, outside of like Trayvon Walker and some other guys. What are your expectations for him in his first year?
Just do what you did last year. Show your flashes. I want him to still try to make those tight window throws. You know, whether it lead to interception or not, that's whatever. But at least we know he likes hitting over the middle of the field, and that's being able to do that consistently is key to success in this league. Ask Kyler Murray, he still can't really do it. Obviously, we're talking about a different athlete. Also, we want to see him run more because last year he decided to run a little bit less just to prove that he could, win from the pocket, which he did do. Just be electric. You know what I'm saying? Make plays in and out, make your mistakes, grow. He's a smart kid, adaptable, so he takes the coaching. It's Tennessee. Eyes ain't gonna be on you too well, like you said, under discussed. So he gets to sit there and develop in the quiet, regular 1 o'clock windows, go out there, play a game, hopefully get some W's and whatnot. Make the team want to play for you, and then next year, pop off. They spend that money and build a team around you, and then you're good to go.
What about numbers? Give me some numbers.
If I had to guess, he'd be around 3,500 yards, between passing and rushing. I'd say 25 touchdowns, probably like 14 turnovers because he is a little reckless. But I'm fine with that. Again, this is a rookie, this Tennessee. The talent isn't all there. I think they have a good collection, like us, kind of like the I was saying about the Colts. They have a good collection. Like they have a decent running back room with Tony Pollard and Tajay Spears. You got a decent O line now. Now that J.C. Latham's on the right side, you signed Dan Moore, who's not a great left tackle, but he's starting level. Peter Skoronski, left guard, he was very good. You get Calvin Ridley, he has a drop issue, but he's still one of the best separators in man zone, off the line, on the line, X slot. You get him at Strepo, that's his name, I guess, that he played with in Miami, so they already got some rapport. Then you got a Numenor from Stanford, who was a good wide receiver. So I think like he has a decent, weapons room, not too great, but not like bad where you're clamoring for him to get more help. So I think he can make some things shake, do his thing, and then there's just a development. It's really just all development. You're on the Titans. There's no rush to win right now. You got your runway. There's nobody behind you that's beating down your door.
I think he's gonna be around 22 touchdowns, about 12 interceptions, 3,200 yards passing. On a season, probably around 64% completion percentage. Just throwing some numbers out there. I think he's really talented. He can make plays outside the pocket. He can make plays out of structure. He can throw on the run. He just needs to grow with playing on time, inside the pocket, inside of the structure of offense, and honing in his decision making. I think that's probably the smartest thing for him to do. Did we predict it? We didn't predict the Jaguars record.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just realized that. I'll do it, and then we'll predict the Titans record. But I also agree. I think that the Titans have a really solid team. The defense is going to be still pretty potent this year. He has Calvin Ridley. He has Tyler Lockett. He has Tony Pollard and Tajay Spears in the backfield. So it's not a bad team whatsoever. It's definitely not one of the worst situations that a rookie quarterback has came into, to be honest. So he should be able to be solid. He should be able to show promise. And then once they fill out the rest of the team, get some more talent around him. He can see if he can be a franchise quarterback because the league is so talented now that he might just end up being like a top 15 guy and can't get any higher than that just because of how much talent is in the league. But he has the talent to be a starting quarterback. If you build a team around him strong enough, they can make the Super Bowl. I'm not saying that because you see Brock Purdy make it, you see Jalen Hurts make it, like you see players that aren't.
They're gonna have to expand the league soon, just because there's so many quarterbacks.
Yeah, so many talented quarterbacks coming into the league, for sure. They definitely want to expand the league. All right, let's do Jaguars record prediction first, because I forgot about that.
You're doing it. You're doing
Yeah, I did.
All right, Latif, we're going to predict the Jacksonville Jaguars schedule for 2025. Give me 1 second while I pull it up. Okay, week 1 at home versus your team, Carolina Panthers.
Win. But it's gonna be close though.
Okay, week 2 at the Bengals.
Loss.
Week 3 home versus the Texans.
Loss.
Week 4 at San Fran.
Loss.
Week 5 at home versus KC.
Another loss.
Week 6 at home versus Seattle.
This is a toss-up game. I like Seattle's defense a lot. I think it's going to be a top 10 unit. Their offense could be a bit dangerous. Sam Darnold, Cooper Kupp, JSN, Kenneth Walker, Charbonnet. This is not an easy game whatsoever. I think the Seahawks are a better team than them. Loss.
Win or loss, Latif?
Loss. I think the Seahawks are a better team than them. Loss. I'm not going to lie.
No, I feel you. No. This third game at home in a row. Week 7 at home versus the Rams.
If Matthew Stafford is playing in this game, it's a loss.
3 straight losses. Going into the bye week is nasty work, but you come out the bye week, week 9 at the Raiders.
Win.
Week 10 at Houston.
Loss.
Week 11, playoff rematch, home versus the Chargers.
If I had a Charger, I'm gonna give him a win on this one at home.
Going to this final stretch, they could do some make a shake right here. Week 12 at the Cardinals.
Toss-up game. I think these teams are pretty evenly matched just off their rosters. I think Kyler can really. I'm not going to do all that. Loss.
Week 13 at the Titans.
Win.
Week 14 home versus the Colts.
Win.
Week 15 home versus the Jets.
Win.
Week 16 at Denver.
Loss.
Week 17 at Indy.
Win.
And week 18 home versus the Titans.
Win.
I think that puts you at 8 and 9, right?
Let me go through. So I have them beating the Panthers, losing to the Bengals, losing to the Texans. Let me count the wins. Carolina
is 8 and 9.
Let me count it. Wait, are you sure?
Yeah. Panthers, San Fran, Raiders, Titans twice, Colts twice.
I got to lose to the 49ers.
Oh, then it's 7. You got them going 7 and 9.
7 and 10.
Oh yeah, 7 and 10. Excuse me.
I don't think 7 and 10 is a crazy prediction at all.
I think that's their floor. I think that's around their floor though. Like if they win all their 50-50 games, they're probably still like 11 and 6, but their floor is probably 7 and 10. So that's decent. That's a decent range of outcomes.
I definitely might have been a little bit harsh with all them losses in a row. But I think their secondary can really hurt them. I think their offensive line, isn't the best. So I think the offense will be improved and keeping them in a lot of games. But they're playing some more balanced teams. I feel like the schedule isn't really light at all. It really isn't. With some of their out of division opponents, I actually have them sweeping the Colts and the Titans. So just losing to the Texans twice. So we'll see. All right. Do you want to do the Titans?
Yeah.
Titans.
They play all early window games. Both them and the Jaguars. Everything is like the 1 o'clock game.
All right, Q. I'm gonna have you predict the Titans' schedule, or I'm gonna have you predict the Titans' record. Actually, not a schedule. All right. Week 1 at the Broncos.
Loss.
Week 2 at home versus the Rams.
Loss.
Week 3 at home versus the Colts.
W.
Week 3, so they're 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
Week 4 at the Texans.
Loss.
1 and 3. Week 5 at the Cardinals.
Loss.
1 and 4. Week 5 at the Raiders.
I think it's a sneaky W.
2 and 4. Week 7 at home versus the Patriots.
L.
2 and 5. Week 8 at the Colts.
L.
2 and 6. Week 9 at home versus the Chargers.
L.
So they're 2 and
7.
2 and 7 before the bye. Week 11 after the bye. At home versus Texans.
L.
2 and 8. Week 12 at home versus Seahawks.
L.
2 and 9. Week 13 at home versus Jaguars.
W.
3 and 9. Week 14 at the Browns.
W.
4 and 9. Week 15 at the 49ers.
L.
4 and 10. Week 16 versus the Chiefs.
L.
4 and 11. Week 17 at home versus the Saints.
W.
5 and 11. Week 18 at the Jaguars.
L.
5 and 12 for the 5 and 12 for the Titans. Not a crazy prediction. That schedule is pretty tough, actually. They're not giving them. Well, it's the AFC, and it's the AFC, and they got some really good NFC opponents with the 49ers, Seahawks, Cardinals.
And through the NFC West they got the NFC West and who else? The AFC. Was that the AFC North? No.
Their schedule's gonna be tough, especially for a rookie quarterback to come in. I say exact.
They played the Chiefs. AFC West and the NFC West. That's
two tough conferences. All right, that's gonna do it for our AFC South preview and predictions. You guys watching this, make sure you guys like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment your team's record prediction in the comments. We love y'all, and we are out.